Hi, and welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. I'm Amy, and today we're going to learn how to make braised chicken rosemary. This is a great dish because it is simple to make on a weeknight or for a Saturday or a Sunday. You can prepare it in advance and then pack it up and take it for your lunch for work. It's really delicious and simple to make. So let's get started. Okay, so we are going to begin with trimming and cutting our chicken. And I always use these disposable gloves. I get them at my local warehouse store. And anytime I'm handling raw meat, although I wash my hands after I handle the meat, I really want to avoid getting any of the meat into my fingernails, rings, or anything. So I just wear these so cleanup is easier. So what I have here is approximately a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I have 3 breasts. They're in various sizes. And what we're going to do is we are going to trim these into about 1.5 2-inch cubes. So we're going to start, these chicken breasts kind of need a little bit of trimming because they have a little excess fat on around the edge. I bought these as a club pack at my local grocery store, and they have a tendency not to be trimmed quite as well when you buy them like that. So we're just going to trim around the edges. There's usually some right in here, some connective tissue that I like to remove because I really don't want to eat that. And one of the things on chicken breast is this area right here where they cut it, there tends to be a lot of excess connective tissue. So what I do is I just get rid of that because I really don't want to eat it. Okay? So we are now going to cut this into our cubes. So on a chicken breast, this end tends to be a little thinner, so I'm going to cut those pieces slightly bigger so it will cook up evenly. So we're going to go ahead and just slice it this way, and then we're going to slice this way, and we're going to get chunks about this big. And these are going to cook up really nicely. We're going to saute them, and then we're going to braise them. So they will turn out juicy and tender. This piece I'm just going to leave kind of big because it's the end piece. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these off, and then we will continue with the recipe. So now part of the recipe, we are going to slice 2 onions and we are going to chop up some rosemary. So to slice our onions, we are just going to basically cut the onion and make half moons. So we're going to peel all the skin off the onion. And so we have 2 onion halves, and we're basically just going to slice these into half moons, which is simple. You just slice this way, so you have basically the onion's going to look like this. So you slice the first one, and then slice the second half. And then we're going to do that with the second onion. So now we're going to chop the rosemary. One thing I can tell you about rosemary, that it is very, very strong. So we are going to put about 2 teaspoons worth of chopped rosemary in our braised chicken rosemary. If you overdo it, and trust me, it's easy to do because the second time I made this recipe, I overdid it. You will have a very, very strong rosemary flavor. And if you like that, you know, great. But I put a little bit too much and I overpowered the dish. So just be careful and try it with 2 teaspoons. If you find that you want more, add more the next time you make it. If you want less, add less the next time you make it. So with the rosemary, you just want to pick off these leaves and we're going to chop it. You want to chop it pretty finely because you won't want one big piece of rosemary. So get it really finely chopped. And so we are going to put it in this little dish here. And we're going to put these to the side, and now we're going to saute our chicken. Okay, now that we have our onions and rosemary chopped, we are going to make a spice mixture to coat the chicken. We're going to use 1/2 cup of flour in a Ziploc bag. 1/2 cup flour. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of paprika. 2 tablespoons paprika. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 teaspoons of salt. And we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, so that's our spice mixture. And pretty much these zip top bags make it so easy to create a spice mixture and to coat your chicken, because all you do is basically close it up and mix it up. So now we're ready to coat the chicken. So we're going to take the chicken that we chopped and we're just going to put it in the bag with our spice mixture, and we're going to coat it really good. And this is so when we saute the chicken, it's going to have a nice, not quite of a crust, but sort of a crusty coating on the outside. So when we braise it, it'll soften a little, but it will be nice and tasty and nicely seasoned. So go ahead and put your chicken in and zip the top back up, and we're gonna do the old shakeroo. This is gonna coat all the chicken pieces, leaves us with nice clean hands. We love that. So just rub it around, toss it around, whatever you want to do, have a good old time with it, and get all that chicken nicely coated. And so it's going to be ready for the saute pan. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring a large stock pot full of water to a boil, and we are going to be boiling some medium egg noodles. Our braised chicken is going to be put over the egg noodles, so we have to get the egg noodles boiling. So I have a stock pot full of water, and I'm going to put in a little bit of olive oil just to keep the noodles from sticking. I'm also going to salt the water pretty good, because this is like one of the only opportunities you have to season your pasta. So you want to put quite a bit of salt in it, just so your pasta has nice flavor. So we're going to go ahead and let this heat up to boil our noodles. We're also going to saute the onions. So we have a pan here that we're going to do our braising in, and we're going to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil in here. And this pan is really hot. And to that, we are going to add our onions. And we are going to saute them until they're nice and translucent. break them up a little bit. And this is going to add some really good flavor. It's going to sweeten these onions up a little bit, and it's going to make them really, really nice for our chicken dish. Okay, now our onions have reached a golden color. They're nice and translucent. They've gotten a little sweet. We are going to take them out of the pan so we can saute our chicken. So now we're going to saute the chicken. So we're going to put a little bit more olive oil in there, just so we don't get the chicken to stick a lot. And we've seasoned our chicken nicely in this Ziploc bag. So we're going ahead and make sure, we're going to put the chicken here and make sure you shake off any excess flour, because you don't want too much flour going on in there. You should get a nice sizzle. Let's turn my pan up just slightly. You don't want it to cook too fast. So we're going to get all our chicken out into our pan. Oh, it smells really good. The paprika just makes this dish nice. So we'll have all our chicken out now. Make sure we get all of it. And we are going to saute the chicken until it's golden brown on the outside. You're not trying to cook it all the way, because we're going to braise it after it browns up a little bit. So go ahead and brown it off, cooked maybe 50% of the way, and then we will start our braise. Okay, now that we have our chicken browned up and cooked about 50% of the way, we are going to add some chicken stock. And the amount that you need to add at this point kind of depends on how big your pieces of chicken are and your pan. So somewhere probably between 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup at this point, we will start our braise. And basically what a braise is we're just going to cook the chicken in a little bit of chicken stock. It's going to make it nice and moist and juicy, and it's going to create a little bit of a sauce for us, so when we put it on over our noodles, we'll have a nice sauce to coat the noodles. So now we've let the chicken sort of cook for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and now we're going to add our onions that we sauteed previously. We're going to put those over the top of the chicken. We're also going to sprinkle on our rosemary. I'm going to put in a little bit more chicken broth over the top of that. And we're going to bring that up to a nice simmer. So we've brought that up to a simmer now, and we're going to cover it, and we are going to simmer it, slowly braising it for about 20 minutes until the chicken is fully cooked. Now we're going to cook our pasta. This is medium egg noodles. They come out a lot, smaller than the large ones, which makes it nice for this dish. And so we have our boiling water that we salted, and we added some olive oil to, and we're just going to add, this is a 16-ounce bag, so we're just going to add about 10 ounces of noodles to our water, and we're going to boil them according to the package directions. I'm boiling about 7-8 minutes. They are al dente, and we are just going to let them drain pretty nicely. You don't want a bunch of excess water in this. And we are going to place them on a platter. Now that our egg noodles are done, we are going to put our chicken braise on the top of this. So it is finished, and it looks really, really good. So we're going to start to spoon the braise on to our noodles. Make sure we don't spill all over the place doing this. And this smells so good. I just want to dive into it. And our dish is done. I'm going to go ahead and scoop out all this lovely braising liquid over the top of our chicken. Oh, gee, this looks very, very good. I think we are in store for a really nice meal tonight. And we'll just spread the chicken out a little bit, make the platter look nice and pretty. And I think we are ready to eat. Okay, our braised chicken rosemary is complete, and we're going to have a taste. Yeah, this is the tough part of the job. So we're going to get a little bit of the chicken, a little bit of the noodles, some of the sauce, and we are going to see how it tastes. Wow, it smells really, really good. You can smell the rosemary, you can smell the onions, you can smell the chicken. It just smells and looks delicious. And it tastes as good as it smells. Let me try the chicken real quick. It's nice and tender and juicy, and it is just absolutely delicious. If you'd like to try this recipe, you can get the full recipe on my website at amylearnstocook.com. Please leave me a comment and let me know how you like the recipe.